Hello, everybody. Let me wish you all a very, very happy Jayanti and a new year too. Most of you will agree with me when I say our real life starts only when we come to Bhagavan or He comes to us. Whatever we might have gone through on looking back, be it a bed of roses or a bed of thorns or a bed of both, as it is most of the cases, it is all worth it provided it means coming to Bhagavan. And after coming to Bhagavan, we realize that all that we have gone through has been a preparatory and a purificatory process. And after coming to Bhagavan, we also see and realize that He is ever ready to take our hand and walk with us through the land to the goal, guiding us and lighting the path. We are gathered here to know about the Advaitic content of Aksharamanamale. I would rather say the entire Aksharamanamale is the quintessence of Advaita, each couplet resounding with the full force of the Aparoksha Anubhuti, the direct and non-mediated experience of a jnani. Once a devotee asked Bhagavan to explain the meaning of Aksharamanamale. Bhagavan said, he paused for some time and then said, it came from within, without any premeditation on my part. This shows that the source of this Aksharamanamale or Aksharamanamale is the fruit of the ceaseless abidance as the self and the soundless source of all sounds. The source of Vedas is Brahman and the content of Vedas is also Brahman. Similarly, the source of Aksharamanamale is the Advaitic truth and the content of the hymn is also the Advaitic truth. Bhagavan is but Arunachala incognito. We all know that his signature tune is Arunachala Ramana. Once he was looking at the hill through the binoculars and a devotee wanted to know what he was looking at. Bhagavan said, I am looking at my own self. And Dr. Said once wanted to know why Bhagavan and Advaitin was considering Arunachala as a separate being and hailing him in hymns. Bhagavan said, the Lord who is hailed and the devotee who hails and the litany are all but the self. This is a proof that the whole litany is but the Advaitic truth. Jnana or perfect knowledge culminates in supreme bhakti or para bhakti or supreme devotion, and supreme devotion ends in jnana. There cannot be a greater devotee than a jnani, and the supreme lover of God has to be a jnani. A supreme devotee perceives everything as the Lord and dissolves himself as love in the Lord, the very form of love. He becomes love looking at itself. The couplet Ambuvil Alipol Anburu Unnil Ennai Anbai Karaitharul Arunachala exactly means this. As hailstone in water, let me dissolve as love in thee, the very form of love. Depicts this. A jnani subsides everything in the self in his eye and becomes the transcendent subject eye facing itself. The couplet Ni na arapuli nidam kali nayama nindridum nilai arul arunachala couplet explains this. Without the distinction of you and I, let us revel in bliss eternal. This couplet perfectly explains the Advaitic stand. The Advaitic truth from both these perceptions forms the content of many couplets in this hymn. The entire rhapsody, couched in the imagery of bridal mysticism, enhances the effect and inspires the devotee with a longing for the highest in life. Thus, Advaita is truth and love is oneness. The description of Svarupa Lakshana or the nature of Atman or self springing from the highest authority of experience makes the verses Upanishadic. Oruvanam Unnai, this verse, one soul, one truth, represents the omnipresence of the Lord, the one truth which is the essence of all religions. And later Bhagavan says in another hymn that this is the wonderful thread over which all the religions are strung like gems. And this is also what remains in every being as I, the effulgence of the self. And then there is Omkara Purul. The self is supposed to be the content of Omkara. There is an Upanishad called Mandukya Upanishad, which in its entirety dwells on this subject. And I think in Bible also there is a sentence which says, the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Then there is Kannukku Kannai, that is the Atman or Brahman or the Self is the I that remains as the eye of the perceiving eye, but it perceives everything without an eye. It means the uninvolved nature of uninvolved witness of the Atman and remaining as the infinite I, which Bhagavan refers to in Ulladu Narpadu in a full sloka. Guru Uru, the self or Brahman is the Guru, and Todamil, without immaculately pure. Vedanta Purul, it is the content of Veda too. And then he says Nunnuru, the subtler than the subtlest. Vinnuru, the space of entire void. Rapagalilla very very veed, the home, the vast space of space transcending time. Poku varavil podu veli, in the vast expanse of pure being from where there is no coming and going. Sthanu, still and motionless. Jyoti Uru, the form of effulgence. There is yet another dimension that enhances the force of this truth. The word that is used maximum number of times only next to Arunachala is grace or Arul. Bhagavan has been recorded saying that grace is but another name for the self, and what is grace alone. As Manikavachakar says, it is grace that gives prayer to him who prays, and devotee prays for more grace. Once a devotee questioned Bhagavan how to get realization. Bhagavan said, through grace. Quick came the next question, how to get grace? Through grace. This may look paradoxical. In fact, all sadhana is for gaining grace, and in its wake comes jnana. In fact, the only dharma of self is grace. Bhagavan uses various epithets and analogies to explain the power of grace. Thedadutra nal thiruvarul nidhi. Grace, he says, holy grace, is the treasure that is not sought. Why? Because it is already attained. And other epithets that he uses are Arul sheath, the raiment of grace, Arul nahai, the jewel of grace, magic unguent of grace, and then Arul Astiram, the weapon of grace, the spider's web of grace, and the net of grace. Most of the verses are a poignant and plaintive cry for grace to reveal the infinitude. That this grace appropriated Bhagavan when he was mere lad of 16 to itself and transmuted him into its own mold is evident from many verses that are autobiographical in nature. That the office of grace henceforth was made also his mission in life is now evident from the experiences of devotees, legion in number. Arunai endra ennaiyan arutkanni patten. The moment I thought of Arunachala, I was caught in the net of grace. பெயர் நினைத்திடவே பிடித்து இழுத்தனை. The moment I thought of you, you drew me to yourself. அகம் புகுந்து ஈர்த்துன் அககுகை சிறையாய் அமர்வித்தாய். You entered my mind and kept me a prisoner in the cave of the heart. சாப்பாடு உன்னை, that he says, I came to taste you, but you consumed me whole. Similarly, there are other verses also, any number of verses that explain this thing. The fragrance of infinitude emanates from verses depicting this aparoksha anubhuti, the non-dual experience of Atman and Brahman, especially in verses 42 and 43. Without knowing the Tat and Tvam of Mahavakya, I became Shiva. When a person realizes the self or Brahman, he becomes one with that. But in Bhagavan's case is the rarest of rare cases, as the verse Nanile Nadida Nanai Vondrini. Thou, uniting me, stood as myself. There is a difference between these two, which is clearly explained by Kabir in a Doha. He says, how to spot the drop that has become the ocean, how to spot the ocean that has become the drop. Bhagavan later used to remark, the event in his case was like a huge elephant entering a small hut. Only the elephant remained and the hut was gone forever. But Bhagavan, out of infinite compassion, delineates the path to the heaven of bliss and awareness and warns us of the obstacles that one has to steer clear of. The subject, the awareness of being the I in one, is objectified and is seen as the world. The verse Tirumbi Aham Tane Dinam Ahak Kankan charters the path and His grace lights it up for us. With an inward turned mind, one should ever seek with an inner eye the self. The obstacles are the mind that gives the slip to the self and roves in the fields of senses, the marauders of five senses, the many defects including lowliness, past deeds and their latencies, absence of scriptural knowledge, the thought waves, serpent venom maya, craze for the world, and most importantly, Baudhigamam Udal Patru, the attachment to the body or the I am the body idea. The pilgrimage and the goal are all myself. When we reach the goal, we may realize that our Sadguru, the invisible guide who leads us on, lighting up the path, is also myself. But this we will realize only when we reach the goal. We know the path is not dark because he lights it up and deep. We have miles to go before we wake up, but someday for sure His grace will make us see the truth. Let us conclude with Shankara from Brahma Jnanavali. Antar Jyotir Bahir Jyotir Pratyak Jyotir Parat Paraha Atma Jyotir Swayam Jyotir 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 Shivosmi Aham. The light within, the light without, the individual light, the light transcendent, the light of the self effulgent, the light I am that auspicious Siva. Thank you.